Good evening, everyone. Okay, there we go. How you doing, folks? Anyway, thank you for joining us on this Monday. February is, shall we say, is a wrap for the most part. Okay. You'll find it, what's the date? The 24th. So in a matter of 4 or 5 days, well, I'll tell you this time next week, it'll be the month of March. Okay. But in the meantime, I do want to thank you for joining the Live with Lloyd family. I am your host, astronumerologist Lloyd Strayhorn. Okay. I have an interesting topic today. It's interesting the way the year started off with fires and explosions. I was trying to figure out what should I kind of talk about today. So I'm going to take a page from my book, Numbers in You. And I have in here a chapter on fires and how the year started out, really, and plane crashes. So I want to share them with you. You know, it's so interesting when you're dealing with Mother Nature. But before we get into that, let me start with our sponsors, which is U-Juice. Okay. It is absolutely sugar-free. For those who would like to order yours, they're out of Trinidad, Tobago. It's LevittStore.com. That's LIVETSTORE.com. LevittStore.com. I'll show you the site at some point, maybe on Wednesday. And so you can see the products are wonderful. The juices, I love. The one to the right, to the left is my favorite. Maybe it's a color I like too. It's Passion. It is like, oh man, so tasty. But anyway, they're sugar-free and they have no sugars, no GMOs in it. Everything is organic. Also, I want to thank Monique of Nicholas, Brooklyn. They need to update it for me because they're entering now their 51st year in business. They're at 1396 Fulton Street in Brooklyn, New York City. And that's Monique and, of course, her able assistant, Capunia. They're both fire signs, by the way, that's interesting. Also, Miss Kimberly with Manifest on Purpose. She also does podcasts on Mondays and Wednesdays, sometimes on Thursdays, sometimes on Sunday. It's a busy lady, but I thank her for sponsoring the show too. Now, before I start, let me start with the forecast. And I think I got everything correct. Okay. First of all, please like, share, and subscribe. Okay. It is Monday, February the 24th of 2025. The sun is in Pisces. The moon is in Capricorn. It's 11 universal month, a 6 universal week, an 8 universal day. So those under the signs of Capricorn, Aquarius, and Libra, or if you're born on the 8th, the 17th, and the 26th of the month. Okay, this should be a very interesting day for you. Okay, so again, the year started off with a lot of fires, but if you look at 2025, it adds up to the year of the 9. Each number is ruled by an element or a planet. First of all, 9 is ruled by the planet of Mars, the fire planet, the war planet, the activity planet, the energy planet, call it what you will. But normally over in its wake, it deals with fires, explosions, guns, knives, drama, to the negative, war, to the negative. On the positive side, it means more the humanitarian influence of being universal and global and international and things of that nature. Well, what I did was I said, Lloyd, I think you had something on fire. So I wanted to start off with fire because that's how it started off. And what I did is I took a brief. I just took a critique of this. More details are in my book. But to name it off, it says, in what months did most fires and explosions occur? Those months would be December, May, followed by October and November. And they accounted for nearly 50% of the fires that occurred. And if I'm not mistaken, the California fires started, actually it was started in New Jersey because it's also a number 9, okay? And then it went to California, so it was late December. By January, it was hot and heavy in California. On what days did most fires? Days. And it was a Saturday, Thursday, Wednesday, and Sunday. Now, I didn't have the time, although I thought about this at the last minute, but to find out when those major fires it started in California and in Jersey that spilled over into California, was it on a Saturday or Thursday or Wednesday when it really, really got out of control? I don't know, but I suspect it hit one of these days. So then I did just reverse. And what months did the least number of fires and explosions occur? January, which will say, well, that's contradictory, because don't you understand that in California, they had a big, big fire blowout in the month of January. But on what days did the least number of fires and explosions occur? It was on a Monday. So that was it. So what I did was this too. I says, okay, so under what numerical influence did most of the fires and explosions occur? Like, was it the 1st, the 4th, the 7th, the 10th, the 13th, 16th, 19th, 22nd, 25th, 28th, or 31st? Because each of these dates added to a 1, 4, or 7. I noticed on all dates of the number 1, such as the 1st, the 10th, the 19th, or the 28th of the month, 50% of the fires started on a date that added up to the 1, rather than the 10th, rather than the 19th or the 28th. When I did the number 4, about 40% of those started on the 13th of the month. And when I did the number 7, such as the 7th, the 16th, on the 25th of the month, 50% of those numbers started on a 7, okay? And then I says, under which numerical influence did the least number of fires and explosions occur? Well, they occurred on dates that added up to the 5th or the 9th. That was, now, I got to be honest with you. This is research I did some while ago, but I wanted to see if it still held up. But what's interesting is when I did the airplane crashes, well, because I didn't get the stats for all the fires and whatnot was going on, but I did get some of the plane crashes that occurred since late January, February, okay? So here's what I did about the plane crashes, okay? So when I did the plane crash, I says, under what months did most airplane crashes occur? It was in the months of August, June, and December. At the time I did this research about 15 years ago, because I had already did 64 years of research going back, 64 years of airplane crashes. Well, at that time, August had topped the list of the month where most airplane crashes would occur. Now, this is not to be panicked. This is not to have the eye lines upset to say, I'm just saying statistically, if you did your statistics, that's what I did. Now, I guess if you Google this information, all of this would be common knowledge now. But at the time I was doing it, I had to do it by hand in my own personal research. On what days did most airplane crashes occur? Sunday, Tuesday, Monday, and Friday. Now, this is going to be the most important because I have something to show you. But let me say this too. I have a client who is a airplane repairman that works on the engines, the jet engines in the airports, okay? And he told me that the most dangerous, the most critical time of an airplane is upon takeoff and landing. That is the most critical time. Once you're in the air, that's kind of a distance. Although there was a disappearance over Alaska this year with 10 people were lost. They found them later, little things like that. But most of them are either takeoffs and landing, like the one that occurred in D.C. on the 31st, I do believe. It was on the 29th. It was on Wednesday the 29th when the plane was coming in and this helicopter crashed into it and it landed in the Potomac River, okay? So, but notice, it was in approaching. There was only literally minutes to go before hitting the termite. So this is what I'm saying. So let me just get back to this because I just found it interesting, and I just have some little research that I want to analyze. It says, okay, and what months accounted for the least amount of airplane crashes? This was in the months of October and May. Now, what days counted for the least amount of airplane crashes? It was on a Thursday. Majority of plane crashes, if they've ever occurred, most than likely they've occurred outside the United States. Now, what is interesting that back on January the 15th in the 1990s, there was a plane that crashed in the Hudson River, and it was Captain Sully. In fact, they made a movie called Sully, where Tom Hanks portrayed Sully, who, by the way, was an Aquarius pilot. He was born on January the 29th. But he had landed the plane, they took off from LaGuardia, and as they were coming back around, I guess to go south or whatever, a flock of birds hit it and hit the engines and forced it to go down. Well, it landed in the Hudson River, right here in New York City. And when my brother called me, he says, the plane had crashed. I said, no planes crashed on a Thursday, because from my research at that time, no planes ever did crash on a Thursday. But this one did. But here is what made it different. Every single passenger, every single crew member got out in one piece. The plane landed on the water. For those of you who want to see the movie, or for those of you who do your research, there are images where you see the passengers on the wing of the plane and whatnot. Every single passenger got off alive, and it was on a Thursday. At that time, the mayor of New York City was Mayor Michael Bloomberg, and then the governor was Governor David A. Patterson, the only African-American governor of the state since then and up until now. But that's the year it occurred in the 1993, 94, something like that. Anyway, I just wanted to point that out. So getting back to the rest of the information, under what dates and in what months accounted for the airplane crashes. This is very important because this is going to confirm some of the dates that have occurred listed from late January to February of this year. But all dates that added up to a 4, a 6, a 3, and a 1 were the dates in which those airplane crashes occurred. In the 4 series, that is the 4th, the 13th, the 22nd, the 31st, the 13th day was the least of the 4 series that have a crash. When I looked at the 6, because actually 4s and 6s tied up about over 50% of the crashes, which is interesting. And of all the dates in the 15 series, the 6 series, such as the 6th, the 15th, and the 24th, those under the 15th had the most crashes. So under which dates in the months accounted for the least amount of airline crashes? Well, that was on an 8. Okay. Now there was an interesting incident of an 8 that back in November of 2079, there was a crash, right? It was a fatalistic crash, but it occurred on the 26th. 2 plus 6 is 8. And it occurred in the year of 1979. Well, it may not mean anything, but if you add 1979, that added to 26, which is an 8. But that's the safest date, where the most problematic dates would be the 4th, the 6th, the 3, and the 1. Now, let me go show you. There was an article that came across my attention, and here it is right here, okay? These are the dates in which the plane crashes have occurred since January up until, thank goodness, right now. I don't think there's been any other things going on. But if you look at it, what's interesting, most of the dates in which these crashes occurred were dates that either added up to a 4 or a 6 or a 3 or 1. Now, what struck me was, as you see, I said when I did my research of all the 6 series, the 15th was the most dramatic of the series in the 6. In other words, if you got to fly on the 6th, make it on the 6th or the 24th rather than the 15th, because just that date alone on the 15th, that was a busy day that Saturday. President Trump had fired hundreds of FAA employees. That day, the plane crashed in Flagler County, Florida. And then on the same day, in another part in Georgia, there was a plane crash. But if you look at the dates, So in other words, if I count the 31st, that's a one, a four, that's one of them. The first, that's a one. Then the sixth, that's another one. And then the 10th, there's another one. So I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So out of about 14 crash incidents listed here, about 50% of them occurred on days that either added up to a 4 or a 6 or a 3 or 1. Now, that doesn't mean, folks, that you don't get on a plane. It's just, I guess, one of those coincidences that take place because there are people that have phobias against flying. For example, former heavyweight great champion Muhammad Ali didn't like to fly. If he had to fly, he had to. But I remember Coach John Madden, for which all these Madden basketball and football games was created after his retirement. He did not take no planes at all. He got a big old bus, okay, with all his crew on there. And wherever he was going in that bus to travel across the country. That's how he did it. So there's some people that are very nervous. Me, myself, if I fly, there have been some planes that have crashed on a Thursday outside the United States, but there were two. If I looked at where there was an incident in these figures here. So for example, in where was it here? On the 6th, it was on a Thursday. I think that's when the planes, the people that disappeared over Alaska and they found them later. Yep, but that was on a Thursday, if memory serves me correct. Let me look at my moon book a second. Because all I was doing is, see, when I did this in my book, it was like about 15 years ago when I did this. And I did 64 years of airline crashes. So I wanted to see if some of the stats still held up. Yep, when it disappeared, it was on the 6th. But it was on the Thursday, but notice it was Thursday the 6th. But what was also interesting, when the plane crashed in the Hudson River, it was on a Thursday the 15th. See, there's that 15 again. 1 + 5 is 6. So this is not to say don't get on a plane on the 15th, folks. I'm not trying to suggest how you travel. Some people are very comfortable with traveling. Some people are not. But if you're nervous like I was, so since Thursday was the safest day when I went to China and India and Egypt and Hawaii, wherever I traveled at, almost always, it was on a Thursday. There has never been to this day a crash in the United States on a Thursday, other than that one that took place on the 15th of this month, where there was a disappearance over Alaska, of all places. The plane just mysteriously disappeared, but they found all 10 of them later, unfortunately. So that was it. I just thought that was just interesting to see if my information still held up. But I have more details about that. And if you want to, you can look on pages for the plane crashes. That's on page 310 of my book, Numbers in You. And then also, if you want to look up the fires, that would be on page 313. Speaking of fires, did you know that there was a famous Chicago fire that took place on October the 8th of 1871? That's when, that was the days before the fire hose and all that stuff. But what happened on that same day in another part of the country, in Pestigo, Wisconsin, over 1,152 people lost their lives in that fire. All this you can look up. I love research. And if you got it, but see, at the time I was doing it, there wasn't the Google, there wasn't the Wikipedia. I had to do some hard-earned research. But if you look this information up, this will confirm. And the one thing, the beauty of being of color in this country, I can't BS people. I mean, I could, but eventually people would find out. So when we do something, as always been the case, we always have to go above and beyond. Y'all know this, okay? So I'm not going to put nothing out there that I'm not going to check it out or do my research. So that's why I tell people, you don't have to believe me. Do your own research. And I'll say, if it's not on point, you'll be definitely in the ballpark where it's almost about to hit a home run. So that's the thing I want to point out to you, okay? So now what I'd like to do is take time to answer some of your questions. I will say this. The LLoyd Lloyd family is so nice. And I notice I've been getting a lot of super chats or donations, call it what you will. I think that's great. But and much appreciated too. But because I can't keep my mind focused on talking to you and looking at the comments. That thank goodness that Jazz helps me now and kind of brings some things to my attention. And Empress Rel on Wednesday does the same thing too. Those are my Monday, Wednesday moderators. Okay. So what I do is this. There's some of you who feel slighted. That is not my intention. I do not do this show every Monday and Wednesday to slight you. I would not like being slighted. So why should I do that to you? But what I'm saying is only when the show is over, then I'm looking at the list of comments from the top to the bottom, and I'll see that I may have missed some. I am human. LLoyd Strayhorn has not learned the art of walking on water yet. Now, when I walk on water, then you can complain. So here's my philosophy. For those of you who would like to make a donation, I am not asking for it, but it is much appreciated, okay? But I'm saying that if you're going to feel slighted, if you want to make a donation, do it after the fact and that I talk to you. That way, so this way, if you make a donation of whatever amount, was $1.99 or $9.99 or whatever number you're going to come up with, that's fine. Appreciate it. But I'm just one person, and I'm doing this from my house. The moderator is doing it from their home, and I have to respect them too. And they're doing the best they can. And they need your cooperation to get those thumbs up too, because it's free. All right. So when you do that, so what I'm saying is my rule is if you're going to make a donation, you can either make it before and take your chances. And for those of you who feel you might be slighted, which is not my intention, then only do so if I should call you. If I should, bring you up on the monitor and give you a session and you feel, then do that. But don't do that and say, well, I know I gave you something, you didn't do this, because that's not it. And it can't be said we didn't have this conversation, because I've had this before with people. All right. So for you newbies that may be just tuning in today, the Williams, out in Chicago and others, they know my script. They know my routine. I will never show anybody any disrespect, and it's never my intention. But if you feel that way, that, okay, I gave him money, he needs to read me. If I catch you, yes, I will do that. But if I don't, believe me, it was nothing that I saw until after the fact. So what if y'all got questions? I want to go with them. I want to take them. And toward the end, I do look for whatever donations, if there are some to be made, so I don't leave anybody out. But if I do, believe me, my friends, it is not intentional. And what I'm saying is, for those of you who are into your feelings like that, then don't do it until I call you. That way we're nice and even, okay? We're nice and even. That's all I'm saying to you. So for those of you who know people do that, explain to them, this is how LLoyd rolls, okay? Ain't intentional. If I get to you, I get to you. If I don't, I only got but so much time. I can't take up all the time of the people who view this show or the moderator. So with that, I'll just leave it at that, okay? All right, okay. Good. Got that straight. Okay. Thank you, Shirley West. I'm going to have her back on. She's the one that does specialists with words and whatnot. It's very interesting. Good evening. And any questions you have, and this is my buddy too, Stephen E., November the 15th, if I'm not mistaken, to Zakia and Grand Rising, Haru. Thank you so much. And so when I get to the birthdays, I'll do it. If you got a birthday question, let me know. And to Jazz Aphrodite, she's just the best. She is just like, she is the rock on Monday. She's a sister, don't play. Not that she's mean, but she's business. But she's a Taurus. And if you understand the nature of a Taurus, then none of y'all should be surprised at all. Okay. Cheryl Lee, thank you. And co-colors. And these are the regulars. I appreciate everybody. Zakia too. Thanks very much for that. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Thanks, Ella. I need hearts and claps I can get my hands on from time to time. And Perry, thank you. And Kaya Love, thank you so much. Okay, Ella, the first live. Yay. Give your birthday, Ella, so I could a Libra here. Okay, let me see about Libras. Okay. For Libras this year, this is a year, it all depends. If you're on the September side of Libra, that means this year is a year where there's a lot of things to be manifest for you. A lot of things that you also need to put to the side. However, if you tend to be in October Libra, it means this is going to be a time to set the stage for the next 9 years. And what you want and what you plan to do is definitely to your favor, definitely to your benefit. So whatever you want, that's what you get. Okay. Um, so this is Libra vibes, born on the 18th. So that means you would be in the one personal year, a time to jump out on faith. So you got two things going for you. One, it's the year of the number 9, and you're born on the 18th. 1 plus 8 is 9. Two, you're starting a brand new 9-year cycle. The cycles only go from 1 to 9, okay? So a person is there, what about 10? Well, 1 plus 0 is 1. What about 11? 1 plus 1 is 2, although 11 is considered a master number. But for the simplicity of keeping it simple, you know what I'm saying? The numbers only go from 1 to 9. So if I says 134, well, 1 plus 3 plus 4 is 8. That's what got me hooked on this. I said, man, I could do this stuff. But that thing got a hold of me, and it's been a nice journey anyway. So that way, this is a time, Libra vibe, for you to start new, start fresh, start all over again, minus all the drama, minus all the mistakes. Just let bygones be bygones, but determine what is in your best interest. That is the greatest thing that you can do for you this year, Libra vibes, is to make sure that you do what is in your best interest. It's not about what your kids may want, your boo may want, your folks may want, the job, the neighbors, the siblings, and whatnot. In other words, I'll put it like this, as I explained to people in the one cycle. If you fail, and this is anybody in this room, if you fail to take advantage of looking out and doing what is in your best interest, you won't get this chance again until the year 2034. Why do I say that? Well, 2 plus 0 plus 3 plus 4 is a 9. So everything is in cycles, except with the cycles of life is every 9 years. So why should you wait that long? We need a cycle to set the stage for what you want to do now. Okay, but then, there's some that, hey, life is not like no video game. You get zapped, that's a wrap. Okay, it ain't about, okay, let's start the game all over again. No, not in this planet, not in this time and day. No, that's it. So in light of that, take advantage of these cycles, understanding it. That's one of the things about Jazz Aphrodite's book, Knocking from the Inside, that she took her life and about the episode that she went through with a relationship, and she spun it over the 9-year period, covering those different cycles. So if you want to see a really craft literary expose of going through a 9-year journey, I would suggest you pick up her book, Knocking from the Inside. It's available, I think, on Amazon, and you can also get it from her too. I'll make sure I put at the end where you can get it. Okay, thanks, Numeric Analytics. Okay, let me see. Okay, good evening. All right. Thank you. That's right. It happened on January the 15th, 2009. Thank you. See, I got good crew. But the point is, notice of the 6 family, it says the numbers that are most challenging to the dates of airplane crashes, the 4 and 6, they led the list. About 50% of those crashes were on those dates that added up to a 4 and 6. But in the 4 series, the 13th day was the least of the crashes, but the 15th was the most serious of the crashes, okay? Such as the incident I showed you in January, just happened between January and February of this year. About four out of the 18 were all dates that it was a 6, but the rest were on the 15th, okay? And this one occurred on the 15th too, which is a 6. Now, don't get on a plane on the 6th, 15th, listen, we all take a chance we get on the plane. We all take a chance at life when we get up every day. But I'm saying for those that are very super sensitive, like LLoyd Strayhorn, okay, I only got one go around, so I'm going to try to live as long as I possibly can. And you should have that attitude too, okay? And then there's some of you that are very blessed. And then there's some of you very, very nervous. There's some people that are afraid to walk across a bridge, as silly as that may sound to me. But it is serious as night and day to them, and you must respect them. So this is all I'm saying. But yes, thank you. Thanks, Jewel. Good looking out. And it took place in New York City. And the mayor still was Mayor Michael Bloomberg, born February the 14th. And David Patterson, the first and only African-American governor of New York, who was born on May 2nd. In fact, he's listed in my book. He's the only politician that I read. And I read most of the politicians in New York at that time. You would never know. Okay, but he had no problems admitting that, yeah, talk to him. It's no big deal, but such is the nature of politics, go figure. Anyway, okay. Hughes Dominoes, January the 26th. Okay, this is Anita Baker's birthday, Paul Newman's birthday, birthday kid's birthday, a couple other people like that. But here's the point. You too, Hush Dominoes, an Aquarius 8 person. All right. That means this year is a year of the 9. What did I do? I took the month and day you were born and added in its place instead of their year. But what's interesting is this. I noticed you're born in 1993, which is the master number 22. Well, Aquarius is governed under the sign of the master number 22. So that means since you are under a sign of Aquarius, is a master number 2, born in the year of 1993, which is year the 22, this, you should have an exceptional journey in your life. And because you're an 8, 8 is always the number of fate or destiny. So let's say you're married, right? Well, the person you married may not have been the person you had planned to marry, but as fate or destiny happens, you wind up marrying that person instead, okay? Or you plan to go up into this career, but as fate or destiny happens, you wind up going in that career. So that's how life is. And only as you get older. So with 8 people as a rule, normally the general rule is between your 33rd and 35th birthday. So anybody viewing this show, born on the 8th, the 17th, or the 26th, normally that's when life begins to turn your way, between your 33rd and 35th birthday. And most people I talk to, and if I'm not mistaken, from your birthday, you're almost there. But I hope I thank you for the donation, but you're almost there. So that means I think you're 32. I think, yeah, 32. So you're right at the edge. And so it tells me, first of all, you feel comfortable around older people. It also indicates you've been out on your own between your 19th and 22nd birthday. You've always been very philosophical. People think you're cold and detached, which is not true. Okay, but to know you is to love you. And it's very interesting because the 26 is that number that deals with, in fact, in Jewish religion, they call 26 a number of Jehovah or God. Also, if you look at the compound numbers 26, it governs the Secret Service. Would you like to know what the address of the Secret Service is here in New York City? It's at 26 Federal Plaza. Dig that. Isn't that interesting? So, I mean, I can't make this up. And don't take my word for it. For those of you in New York, go see for yourself. Go down to Federal Plaza and see for yourself. Or just look it up. You see the address is 26 Federal Plaza. Okay, anyway, so your angel numbers are the 8, 4, and 1. And your best days are always, or angelic days, I said, put them on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. All righty? But this is going to be a year to manifest the things you want to make true to yourself. Okay, and thanks for the donation. This is, she is born 12/15 and born at 2:18 p.m. So your son is in the 8th house. St. Louis, your book says what states are good to live in and others to be careful in. But what about countries? Well, in my book, I list the best cities to visit and also the best vacations to go. So if you want to, the best places to live, that's on page 177. And the best countries to visit or whatever is on page 181. All right. So I'll give you an example, not to take too much time, but let me do this page 181, I think it was, since you mentioned countries as the last, 181. Okay. So since your numbers are the 6, 3, and 9, what I do is I start with 6 first, right? So I'll go to 6, you're a number 6 person. Such places would be like Bermuda, Bogota, Budapest, Cologne, Curacao, El Salvador, Hawaii, Honolulu, Lusaka, Manila, Minsk, Germany, Munich, Paradise Island, Paris, San Francisco, Santo Domingo, Shanghai, Tangier, Zurich. And then if I looked at the number 6, well, I mean, the number 3, that would be Antigua, Aruba, Cuba, Gambia, Grenada. All this is in my book, okay? So just order my book from Amazon, along with my other books if you like to, and you can look that up for yourself, okay? But nonetheless, it indicates that you are earth sign with an earth number, which means very pragmatic, very ground to earth, and it all depends on where you want to go. See, don't forget, each city and country has their own numerical vibrations according to the name that is given to it. This will explain why you go to one city and feel very much at home, wish you could stay longer, and then you'll go to another town or country or city to visit. As soon as you get there, you're not feeling it. It's like, yo, man, this is going to be a long vacation. I need to get up out of here. Well, that's what it is, because each city, each country, each nation has its own numerical frequency. This is why so for example, you should go to Paris. Why? Because Paris is ruled by the number 6, for example. Okay. If you went there, you would find yourself right at home. Not only that, but 6 governs the sign of Taurus. So your birth number is in its own element. Plus, you got great taste anyway. But anyway, your numbers are the 6, 3, and 9. And Fridays, Thursdays, and Tuesdays are your best days. Hi, Goldie. Thanks very much. Okay, this person here, Romaine Septo. Okay, they're born on 9/9/1997 at 12:21. So that would be, so that's a military time. So that would be somewhere around about 9 o'clock. So that means your sun is around about the 4th or the 5th house. I'm not too good on the military time, but I think is, well, I could do this. 12 plus 9 equals 21. So that means you was born about 9 o'clock. That's what it means. So that means your home is probably somewhere in the 12th, somewhere around the 5th house, probably in the 5th house, I bet you. But anyway, it's interesting. The most common day to be born on is September the 9th, which you happen to be. And look at all those 9s in your birthday. And this is the year of the 9. So what that tells me, Roman, that means you're a fighter. You think you're the greatest thing since ice cream, okay? You think you can walk on water? At times, I'm only kidding, okay? But the ones you have a good opinion of yourself. And you happen to be in the 9 personal year. You happen to have a 8 destiny, which is as you get older, life gets better for you. And it should have. Now you're in your late 30s, early 40s. I would say you were there. And since you don't take orders well, I wouldn't be surprised if you haven't gone into the military or law enforcement or construction, or have a career occupation where you want your uniform, such as a technician or nurse or fire or military or security or something of that nature. But 9s are very feisty. And you had nerve to be born on a Tuesday, because Tuesday rules the number 9. So you all 9'd up, buddy. Okay. And then you're born at 9 o'clock, because if I'm not mistaken, 12 plus 7 equals, 12 plus 9 equals 21. So you were born in the 9 o'clock hour. Yes. So you 9 all up and down the gazoo, man. I mean, Roman, excuse me. So all I'm saying is you have no excuse. Now, I will say this to the negative. 9 rules confrontation. 9 rules guns and arguments and explosions and confrontations and conflict and drama. 9 also rules accidents by way of knives and guns and explosions and things of that nature and car accidents. 9 also, its greatest nemesis or enemy or antagonist is alcohol. And one of the things that I recommend to 9 people, they should not make alcohol their best friend. Occasionally, socially, yes. But to snooze up to alcohol like that's your best buddy, that might be your undoing. So if you're not doing that, you ain't got nothing to worry about. But mostly 9 governs alcohol, okay? If a person has alcohol for the first time, there's a burning in the sensation. Even the Native Americans were smart enough to call it fire water, because it burns when entering until your body get used to it. It's like you smoke a cigarette, it'll make you choke it, cough it, all that stuff until you get used to it. Then you get hooked. Well, alcohol does the same thing. So I'm just saying to you, Roman, do not make alcohol your best friend. Okay, anyway, your numbers are the 9, 5, and 6, and your best days are always on a Tuesday, a Wednesday, and a Friday. Okay. This person says, I think Pluto was in Aquarius at that time, also with those great fires. That must have you. I wonder if you're referring to the one in 1871, the Chicago fires, or on November the 19th of last month of 2024, when Pluto went into the sign of Aquarius. Okay, so I don't know which one. Okay. So anyway, thank you for that. Thank you. I got a good crew of viewers, man. I am so in a good set of moderators. I'm very fortunate. Good evening, federal workers on probation day for 5th. What's in store for you? Well, you are in a 9 personal year. So this is a year of terminations, because that's what 9 denotes. Endings, letting go. That is just one side of the 9. On the other side of the 9, it means dreams come true. You know, sometimes when we are terminated, the first thing is we're into immediate panic, because we set a routine and we used to go into work, even though we don't want to be there. We putting in hours, even if we don't want to be there, to get that paycheck, to do what? Pay your bills. But oftentimes these terminations will wind up being a blessing in disguise. Let me tell you this. All those thousands and thousands and thousands of workers that are now being laid off, you cannot tell me there's going to be hundreds of them that don't come up with great ideas, inventions, and wind up, I'm telling you, they will say right now in the moment, it's like, oh, you know what? But later on, they will find out it will be a blessing in disguise. Okay. And it's what they used to say, when one door closes, another door opens. So, I mean, there's an initial panic because I remember as a kid, I was told if you work for the city, you got a safe job. It's also with the federal government. If you got clearance, you pass your clearance, and they screen you, you got a job for life. As you see, that no longer is the case, which is why I started my course on how to develop numerology to teach it as a course. Let me show this to you. This is it. I've had 2 of these courses so far, and this will be course number 3. And it is about teaching you how to do the art of making numerology as a career. Now, if you think you're going to start off with $100,000 salary, this is not the course for you. No. But if you want to build a skill set that will help humanity, help you, your family, your loved ones, and will last you for the rest of your life, as long as human beings walk this planet Earth and man don't blow themselves, the kingdom come with their foolishness, you will always be employed. AI cannot replace me. AI can add up the numbers faster than me, but they cannot do what I do in the way that I do it. And this is what I will teach you. So for those of you, I know it's last minute, but we like to do things at the last minute too, okay? So what I'm saying is, for those at the last minute, you want to go to numbersandyoulllc@gmail.com, and they'll send you a link. Actually, it's going to be an application, but we may not have time to go through the screening. But if you want to be a part of it tomorrow and want to join, just where you go. Numbers, and if Jazz can put that up, please, for the Numbers in You Beyond Workshop. The contact is numbersandyoulllc@gmail.com, and you will get a link from my assistant, and just to put that on there. Okay. Thank you. Let me get this off the screen. But what I'm saying is, these things, for 2020, when COVID hit and a lot of people were laid off, some of the people I know did their best work. They founded their businesses, things of that nature. Okay. So I'm saying that for those in a panic, yes, you will have problems. But for those who can keep your head and keep your cool and don't panic, everything is a blessing in disguise. It really, really is. And if you can take that attitude, and since this is the year of the 9, which is dreams come true, whatever your dreams are, make them come true. You now have an opportunity to do that. Okay. So take advantage of it in that way. All right. So let me get back to the comments. All right. Domingo, I just read you. Thank you for the donation. Much appreciated. See, that's what I'm talking about. See, so this way I don't feel, no way, because I don't want to feel no way, because it's not my intention to do that. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'd be saying, oh, man, because I'm not. Well, anyway, I ain't got to explain. Anyway, let me go. Numerologics. One of my favorites, Queen Bee, and back. Okay, let me see. Okay, yes, you can get full readings here. And Mo36, hope you're doing well. I don't know what you mean, Derek Mohammed, by reading weather temperatures. See, this is how my book started, from people that ask me about this, that, and the other. I know in these almanacs, like a book like this, they will talk about the weather. You know what I'm saying, like that. I'm not there yet. Has been where my main focus is, but it might be something. I don't know what you mean by that, but thank you very much for that. I'll look into that. Okay. Ms. Neil. Okay. 221. This is what you call Barbara Jordan, the late politician. Nina Simone, who was who told it like it was. But you were born in the first house because you're born at 4:33 a.m. So your son is in the first house. But nonetheless, let me tell you about you. You just had a birthday a couple of days ago. What's today? Yeah, a couple of days ago, 2 days ago, I believe. So anyway, happy birthday to you from the Live with Lloyd family. This is your year for change. What do I mean? When I took the month and day you were born, added it to the present year, 1995, and factored up to a 5. Now, imagine, okay, here we go. Yeah. So imagine this is a 1 and this is a 9. Well, the midway point is here. You're at the midway point in your 9-year journey, which is called the pivotal cycle, the cycle that makes you take advantage of opportunities and possibilities and changes and media exposure and publishing and promotions and getting out there, because 5 rules Gemini, which is the house of communications. Okay, radio, television, writing, blogs, whatever, podcast, whatever the case is. And so if you have a skill or set or things of that nature, definitely do that. And by the way, you say you're born in 73, but you look like you was born in about 83, 85. You don't look your age at all, which is none of my business. Because I'm telling you, and if you ever attracted younger people, that would make sense, especially relationships. And it's better to have love than no love at all. But this year is about change and opportunities and taking advantage to do all the things you want to do. This month of February, we're just ending for you. That tells me you've been going through a very soul searching, very reflective kind of period. And next month, now that we pass your birthday, and in March, you'll be in an 8 cycle, which is the money cycle. You would be my new best friend for the month of March. Yes, you would. Okay. But your numbers are the 3, 6, and 9, and your best days are Thursday and Tuesday and Friday. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Goldie Lee, July 18th. What can you expect? Well, first of all, for you, you will be in a 7 personal year. 7, and it's interesting because 7 governs the sign of Cancer as well as Pisces. But because you'll be in a 7 year, that means this is your year to seek wisdom and knowledge and understanding, to go down the rabbit hole of life and find out why you do the things you do, to search deeper, to question with some clarity. So it ain't because somebody says they love you, but the question for you is, why do you love me today? Okay. That's the point. And not only that, but since you're in a 7 personal year, and I added to the month of February, which makes it 7 plus 2 is a 9. You're in a, this is a year to fulfill this is a month, I should say, to fulfill your dreams. And this is also a month to let things go, to put things aside, to say, that's it. That's it. And March, because your months are March, April, May, October, November, December. March means new beginnings, new directions, new opportunities, and new relationships. So I know this, you tend to attract men in uniform. And I'm looking at all those 8s and much older men too. I'm talking about almost your daddy's age, which is none of my business. But if you attract them to you, you didn't understand that. I mean, you're going to attract people anyway. But I'm talking about, like, why are these older guys hitting on their sister and they know good and well they shouldn't be talking to me? Well, you know, guys, what can I tell you? Okay, guys. Anyway, your numbers are the 9, 6, and 3. And your best days are always on a Tuesday and a Friday and a Thursday. And I wish you all the best. What can you expect in March? Well, that answers the question. Since you're in a 7 personal year, 7, your personal year added to March, the third calendar month is a 1. That means new beginnings, new directions, new opportunities. You might get a raise or promotion. And I noticed in the 1, this is when people want to step out on faith and do something for themselves. Me, myself, and I, they're 3 best friends. They do what is in their best interest. And it also means in this month that you're likely to meet an Aquarius or Leo or Aries, or anybody born on a date that's the 1st, the 4th, the 10th, the 13th, 19th, 22nd, 28th, or 31st of any month. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. My man. Hey, Stephen Williams and his beautiful wife from Chi-Town. Okay. I haven't been there in a while, but thanks. They've been so supportive. They feel so supportive. Thank you. I feel your pain, Dana Cooper. I don't know. Maybe did I miss Dana Cooper? Okay. Okay. This person here is what should they expect? Okay. You're born on Jeff Bezos' birthday. Okay. I know you ain't got his money, but nonetheless, that is the birthday of Jeff Bezos and Russ Limbaugh and what's this guy, radio famous person, like Herman something. Anyway, for you this year, it's about borders. It's about boundaries, about restrictions, about a covenant to stay within the rules of the game, to stay in your lane, Don't be wandering in nobody's lane this year. You got to stay in your lane, focus on what you got to do, have a sense of purpose, intention, focus, and order and determination. Now, 4 is not one of those cycles that a lot of people like because it means effort. But then Capricorns are hard workers, so you shouldn't have too much of a problem. Plus, you're born in the decade of the 70s, so you kind of old school. Now, this new school about the 90s and 2000, where they're in this entitlement phase, they would get their feelings hurt. But for you, it's probably no big deal. And you should come through like a trooper. Your key numbers, though, are the 3, the 8, and the 6, and your best days are always on a Thursday and a Friday, and it's actually Thursday, Saturday, and Friday, although the calendar would say Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, but it's Thursday 1st, Saturday 2nd, Thursday 1st, Saturday 2nd, Friday 3rd. That's it. Okay. All right. And Zinga, thank you very much for the donation. They are born on 8/15. What should they expect? Well, for you, this year, you will be in what is called a turning point year. So what I did was I took August the 15th, and when I added everything together, you are in the year of the 5, the year of change, the year where you need to breathe and stretch out. Now, 6s, it can be very conservative. 6s can be very rigid. And then when you're born on a fixed sign, it may make it even more so. But this year, you're going to have to exercise some flexibility. So you got to be a little fluid, that if everything ain't working your way, it's cool. Maybe it's for a reason to kind of change up the scenario a bit. But let it be said that there are opportunities. It's like everything, though. And when they say opportunities are fleeting, it simply means you can't go to sleep at the wheels at any time this year. You got to keep your eyes and ears open, because when the opportunity, you think opportunity that's going to sit there and say, okay, let me see when the Zinga's going to look at me. It don't work like that, man. You got to be, or like this person in Zinga, my sister, you got to be on the ball. You got to pay attention. You got to, so when the opportunity comes, you got to jump at it. You know, you might, let's say you with a mate, right? And you get a call, and this company says, listen, I want you to start this job next week. And your mate says, no. Well, you have to make a decision. You have to do what is best for you. Now, they may not appreciate it in the moment, but hopefully they'll appreciate it later on. So that's what I'm saying. When you're in that kind of year, that you got it, you're going to have an opportunity where you ain't going to have time to discuss it with your peoples, with your family. The opportunity is you got it now, then you need to jump on it now. So that's how it is. And then hope everything kind of works itself out. But your numbers are always the 6, 2, and 7. And Mondays and Fridays are your best days. And for 2025, as I said, it's a year of change for you. It's a year of change. My zodiac sign, Mariah, is Aquarius. That's what I am. Yep, that's what I am. Okay. Okay, Ella would love a reading. Okay, Ella, did you give your birthday? No, nope, you didn't give your birthday. You don't have to know your time. I see. I'm an astronumerologist, which means my background is in astrology, and but numerology is my forte. And this is why I got into numerology, because everybody don't know their time, and they have changed since then. The birth certificates. If you was born in the 40s, 50s, 60s, up until 70s or something like that, your birth certificate came with your mother their age, your father their age, and the time you were born. With everything was on the birth certificate. Everything has changed. Now you just get a generic piece of information. First, last name, month, day, and year. That's it. Then you got to write into the whatever that place is to get, if you want to know more information, is more detailing. Okay. Bella, if you get that to me, I will get you. Okay. All righty. Let's see what else we got. El Gray, June 17th. Kendrick's birthday, Kendrick Lamar's birthday, because he's a hot item right now. Although him and Drake has got some differences, but anyway, you would be a mature person. This year for you is also about, believe it or not, change. And you are a Gemini, because your key numbers are the 8, 6, and 5. And since 5, you're in a 5 cycle. That means now you do well this year, but even more so next year when you enter a 6 personal year, and 2 years after that in 2028 when you're in an 8 personal year, which matches your date of birth. So since you were born in 1953, that tells me that back around about the 80s, late 70s and 80s, that's when things turned around for you. But you've always been very mature, a little bit misunderstood. But I would say to know you is to love you, my friend. And your key numbers, again, are the 8, 6, and 5. And your best days are always on a Saturday, followed by a Friday, followed by a Wednesday. Yes, but this is the year to turn things around for you. Okay, this is Ella. Okay, Ella, thank you very much. She is a Libra 1 person. Her numbers are the 1, 4, and 9. All right. And it tells me, Ella, you have this kind of interesting life where when you're young, you attract much, much older persons. And as you're getting older, as you've done now, they're probably younger. So don't be surprised if a younger man is hitting on you, and you might feel uncomfortable because of societal expectation of women about dating a younger man, even a couple of months younger than you. But I would say, Ella, you dated younger men. And I'm looking, and every single letter in your name, Ella, you got 5s and 3. You got 1 5, 2 3s, and a 1. So you've got 11, 12. Plus your name adds up to a 3, which is youthful. You will also deal with foreigners, foreign countries, foreign languages. Men from different cultures have hit on you. So, and you need to learn a second language too. But this year is about being number one. Not what the folks want, not what the mate wants, not what the kids want, not what the neighbors want, but what Ella wants for Ella. And if you take that attitude, you'll be happy. And if you fail to, well, at this point in your life, I don't see why you got to wait until the year 2020, 2034 to do that again. Okay, that don't make sense to me. But listen, we all got our ebb and flow. That's how we do. But anyway, you're strong-willed, very determined. And this particular year with a 1 says you got to watch your eyes, have your eyes checked, heart, pressure, lower back, things of that nature too. All right. And yes, I agree with Stephen. Please hit the like button, please. Okay, this is Nakili. What are some things I need to focus on this year? Since you are in a September the 4th, your thing is to focus on being as organized as humanly possible. This year says to focus on paying yourself first. This year, focus on what you put in is what you get back. Just that simple. All right. Your numbers are the 4, 1, and 5. And Sundays and Wednesdays are your best days. Okay. Okay. This is DS here. He is November 6th. You're in an 8th year. I can tell you that. You're in an 8th year where you give birth to something because it's a pregnancy cycle. And of course, I see who you are. That's obvious. But I'm saying you give birth to an idea or a plan or an enterprise, an endeavor, or a project, or an agenda, a proposal or intentions or whatever you give rise to them. This is your year to think big. The bigger you think, the better your results will be. And since 8 is very much in harmony with the number 6, I wouldn't be surprised if you're trying to get a home or an apartment or something like that. So it's about moving into a home or moving out of a home. It's also about coming of age too. Growing up and looking at life through a more philosophical lens in terms of what your life has been about, why you've been going through there, and what all these people in your life has been doing. It's like a cast of characters who is whatever the case is, all right? But your numbers are the 6, 9, and 3, and your best days are Fridays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. And as Domingo, thank you so much for the donation. Much, much appreciated. Okay. This is Dana Cooper here. Okay. Numerics. I know faith in God got me. I need this confirmation for retrograde pieces in area. Yes, there will be a retrograde. There are 3 retrogrades this particular year, all in the water signs. The first one is on Einstein's birthday and Simone Biles' birthday, which is March 14th. Then the next one is in July 17th, which is Don D. Rockefeller's birthday. And I forgot who else was born on that day, but that's the next one. Then the last one is on November the 29th, which is Billy Strayhorn's birthday. No, that's fire sign. It's in water. So that's somewhere around late October or something like that. Anyway, I'll look that up. But anyway, you got a water sign coming up next month. So it means just being a little mindful. So this is Dana. Okay. Let's see. Retrograde Pisces and Aries full moon in the 12th house. Okay. The 12th house is about groups. Okay. No, the 11th house is about groups. The 12th house is about partners. I mean, it's a psychic development. It deals with the sign of Pisces, and that would make sense. But since you didn't give the full birthday, that's about the best I can do. Okay. I did answer your question, and Zing, I hope you got it. Okay. Yes, Mike Bailey, please hit the like button. It's the game. They're a water sign with a water number coming up very, very soon. And so this is a year to step out on faith and do things in their best interest. And it's interesting about sevens. They're very analytical. Seven is very, very comfortable in the home of the sign of Pisces. All right, because it's a water sign. So you're a water sign with the water number, which means you can really be into your feelings, and yet you know how to be cool, calm, and collected. That is the things that will make you very attractive with some people at times, game. And also your key numbers are the 7, 2, and 3. No, the 7, 2, and 3. I did it right. Yep. And Mondays and Thursdays are your best days. Okay. All righty. Okay. Okay. Gloria, June 14th. All right. Your birthday indicates you're an air sign with an air number, just the reverse of game, who's a water sign with a water number. So that means you're always in your head. This is your president's birthday, you know, the 47th president of the United States, Donald J. Trump. He is born on June the 14th of 1946. Okay. So anyway, your birthday indicates that this is a year for you to do the things that, in fact, you this year in what is called a master number 11 personal year. So that means you go throughout this year with enlightenment. You go without this year through some transition that's taking place. And your key numbers are always the 5, 6, and 9. Okay. And this is November 19th. So you're in a 3 personal year. Your numbers are 1, 4, and 9. And this is Dr. Let me just see something. I'm running over my time. I want to make sure that if anybody sent any donation, I want to acknowledge it now so nobody gets upset. That's my rule. My rule for this show is, and I may have to say it more often so people get it, if I don't call you, don't make a donation. But don't make a donation and I don't call you, and then I don't do guilt trips well. I just don't. It's not going to work with me, okay? Because it's not deliberate. I can't do everything. I mean, I'm just one person, okay? And I realize my limitations. Everybody should realize their limitations. But I do the best I can, and that's what counts, okay? So if I miss you, that's why my rule is, and I think I'll say it all the time, if I should, there you go. Thanks, Ella, for the donation. I much appreciate it. If I don't call you and you made a donation, believe me, it's not deliberate. You have no idea. It's very important to do that, okay? I didn't tell you your best days, Ella. No kidding. Shucks, Ella. I'm trying to remember in my head because I'm reading so many people. Let's see, Ella. Okay, where are you? Wow, so many people. Where's Timon? Okay, your best days are Sunday and Tuesdays. That's your best days, September 28th. I knew. 67. Thanks, Ella, for making a mention. All right, everybody, I have to get off this phone right now. All right, I got to pay respects to my moderator. They work very hard and long for what they do. And Andre Bailey, thank you so much for the donation. And Game, thank you so much too. See, then you know, it's cool. So only when I call you, especially for those that want to make a donation, but I have no guarantee I'm going to call you. I'm doing the best I can. Again, when I start walking on water, all y'all can expect a lot out of me, but it's not going to happen otherwise, okay? All right. Anyway, I want to thank y'all so much. Y'all all have a blessed day, and all of you take good care of yourselves. And see, that's why I got my girl here. Dad, thank you so much, dear. God bless you. Everybody, thank you very much. And let me let you know that the show has been brought to you by U-Juice. It's a wonderful product. It's no sugar. I mean, it's the most one you have to drink it to understand what I'm saying. This is not just talk. I have all 3 brands. I've had all of them. When I first went to Trinidad in 2019, and his wife was the one that came up with the idea, and they developed it, and I mean, they just turned it out. But of all the flavors, it's the one to select. Now, that's my favorite. Somebody may tell the red or the green, but the lavender, that's my juice. That's the passion one. It is all sugar-free, no GMOs, none of that nonsense up in there. I suggest that all of y'all write to Livet, Livet store, store.com. Go there to the website. That's the website, LevittStore.com, and look it up. Look for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Look for yourself and order the product. You order it today, Monday, you'll probably get it by Friday or Saturday. They do a quick turnaround coming from Trinidad too. Not bad. All right. Then I also want to thank Monique of Nicholas, Brooklyn, who does a bang up job. She has the most excellent store. I defy you to go into that store and come out with one item. You can't do it. And I've been going there for the last 7, 8 years, 9 years, maybe 10 years or more. It's hard for me to come out of there with one item. It'll be hard for you, but you got to go into that store to understand what I'm talking about. And that's 1396 Fulton Street in Brooklyn. Also, a show you must listen to. Seriously, every Monday and Wednesday, as a rule, is Manifest on Purpose. She reminds me pretty much when Iyanla Van Zandt had her podcast, where she would tell a story, but behind that story, there was always a moral to that story, something that all of us could walk away universally. So I'm just amazed how she takes a personal page from her life, but it relates to almost anybody who's lived a life at some point. So it's Manifest on Purpose, and you can go to YouTube and just type in KIMBALEY_ and listen to it. Okay. And for those of you tomorrow who will join the class, if not, I will have one in the summer. Just go to numbersandullc@gmail.com. Yes, you can still get the free newsletter, although February is almost a wrap, but it's still free, and you'll be getting March soon. And for those of you who don't want to read it, you can listen to it by going to YouTube, Kimberly, KIMBALEY_ and hear what I had to say for February. And I will be working on March soon. All righty. So everybody, I do want to thank you very, very much for joining us. I will see you Wednesday. All of you, please take good care of yourselves. Until then, have a blessed day. And thanks for saving the day, young lady who told me that the airplane crash with Sally was on January the 15th of 2009. I got that in my head now. Thank you. Bye-bye.